All right, Conor Benn is here. Undefeated contender, welterweight, junior welterweight, middleweight for the right fight, I'm sure. He takes on Peter Dobson on Saturday. That will be an afternoon fight in the U.S., prime time in the U.K., live on DAZN. So what is the official weight for this fight, Conor? Because I know you've moved back and forth a little bit over the last few fights.
Yeah, this fight's at 150. Yeah, just 150 for this one. What's it,
Mhm.
3 pound over the 147 limit?
What
3 pound.
what's your plan then for yourself? Are you trying to get back down to 147? Are you open to whatever the best fight is out there? What's kind of in your mind on that?
I think I want the world title at 147. I could have made 147 for this fight. But since there's nothing on the line, why not do it at 150? So for me, yeah, I see my career, moving forward at 147, unless there's a big fight that the public demand at 154 or 160.
Mhm. I've got one for you, 154. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes. You're fighting in Vegas,
Yeah.
prime time in the UK, afternoon in the US, which means like instead of people coming from a nice dinner, they might be rolling in from the breakfast buffet to get there for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
early
yeah.
part of that card. It's probably been a long time for you since you fought this early in the day, hasn't it?
I don't think I've ever fought this early in the day. But it's a blessing, for my fans to be able to watch it at 10:30 p.m. approximately UK time. It's um it's only right that we do that for the supporters, no?
Mm. So explain to me the last few months in your life, because I stood there in the ring with you after you beat Orozco in your last fight, and you were pretty clear that while you liked the opportunity to fight in America, you wanted to get back in the UK. What is the biggest reason why you're not fighting in the UK for this fight?
It's more, legal issues. I'd say with Matchroom, or we prefer to build the name, build the profile up in America during this period. So it makes sense to do these fights in Vegas, Orlando. We don't know where's next yet, but all the world titles are over here, and all the top weights are over here in America. So, as a team, we chose to sit down and we know that this is the way forward to capture the world weight titles over here.
Are you happy with this plan? Is this kind of you on board with all this?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Benn name's familiar right here in the States. So for me, it's nothing but a blessing to be able to headline in Vegas, fight in Orlando. I fought in the New York Coliseum when I was maybe 10-0. So it is a dream. It is a blessing. I feel like I'm doing a little American tour.
Yeah, Orlando and then Vegas. That is a American tour. Are you optimistic though that you're going to get back and fighting in the UK sooner rather than later?
Most definitely. By the end of Feb, I reckon
Mhm.
this should all be concluded, and that chapter, horrible chapter in my book, finally closed.
Yeah, and you've talked at length about that chapter. You and I have talked at length about that chapter. I've heard you say this in previous interviews this week. Like there are some people that are just never going to believe you. There are some people that are going to believe you full throatedly. Have you kind of accepted that's just how it is? That you're never going to be able to convince everybody.
Yeah, definitely. That was the hardest thing for me to accept. Out of everything, not how much I've spent, not how bad the publicity's been, nothing has been harder to accept than the fact that some will believe and some will never believe, and some will find an excuse for my success. Or that was the hardest thing for me to accept. I was driving the other day and I was just sitting in a car and I'm just driving. I'm just like, I wish people could just see. Like, I wish people could just know. Like I don't know how. I wish someone could just see and actually know I'm innocent. Like completely. Not even like even thought about. Never even heard of it. Never nothing. I wish people could just see and how I would have been, how badly I was treated. How badly someone innocent was treated for nothing. For no wrongdoing at all. Nothing but diligent with everything I take throughout my whole career. Nothing. Just been loyal to the game, dedicated, married to the game. How would people respond if people had just seen and just know? Maybe some evidence is going to come out in 2, 3, 4 years where this substance is proven to be contaminated with what we're consuming.
When did you kind of come to that understanding? Was there a moment for you where you said, you know what, I'm just not going to convince anybody or everybody, no matter how hard I try?
I mean, some days it's you don't even think about it, and then other days it's like, I can't believe this has been something I've had to accept. So you're never like really like, I'm still healing. It's something I'm still healing about. As I mean, in September how emotional I got in the interview we done. It's still like, it takes time to heal from something like this, I believe, because it's not like I don't care about my image. I'm not I don't just go missing. I'm very vulnerable. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I am what I am, and people know I am what I am, which is why this has been so bad. Because should I have listened to the lawyers and just gone missing? Out of sight, out of mind. Should I have just not retaliated? Should I not have protested and fought it and fight it tooth and nail? Then it probably would have gone away sooner. But I'm just not that guy. And listening to the legal advice, I just couldn't stay quiet while my name, my image, my character, my son, my son is going to one day see all this and me not fight for my innocence. It's been the hardest fight, but I'm still undefeated. I won the first hearing. So the rematch is on, and no doubt I'm going to win the rematch.
So you got back in the ring in September. What did it feel like to be back in the ring after almost a 1-year layoff?
Do you know what? It's mad because I'm a fighter, so I go in there and I do what I got to do regardless. Like, even on my sick day, even if I'm like 50% or I'm ill or I'm still very confident. Like, even if I'm not 100%, then my explosiveness, my power, my agility, my athleticism is enough. My boxing brain is enough to outweigh any way I may be feeling. But on fight night, it hit me. The whole thing hit me. And it hit me in the changing room. And I actually had to lay down. I've never done that. And my cousin who's sitting here now was like, that's strange, because I thought that was weird because I've never seen you do that. Normally I'm like, okay, go, where's the ring bell? Whereas I had to lay down. I was absolutely exhausted before the fight. I said, Tone, I need to lay down. And I lay down. I fell asleep for maybe 20 minutes while my gloves are on, ready to, like, all taped up, ready to go. And I just said, I'm exhausted, shattered. I think it was more mentally for me. It was a mental thing. When I meant it, the fight for me was mental than physical. Although it was a hard fight. I mean, he's a tough Mexican, he's a big guy, but the fight was up here for me. And I feel very differently about this fight.
And in the ultimate irony, Orozco tested positive for a banned substance after your fight. Did you have, I mean, was your reaction different given what you've gone through to learning of his positive test than maybe it would have been before you've gone through what you have?
When anyone fails, unless you've gone through it, when anyone's failed a drug test and they've got cleared or whatever, you go, yeah, all right, okay, no, yeah, we know, So when everyone's failed a drug test, I used to be the guy that used to go, well, that's it, like, you've been caught, just own it. And that was what was so hard, is I was so harsh on those people in my head, but you never know what's around the corner. So I've learned something massive out of this. I've learned a lot out of this, because you shouldn't be so quick to judge. Wait till you find the evidence. Science doesn't lie. If someone's willing to spend hundreds and thousands on proving their innocence, how can you say they're guilty? I've not spent hundreds of thousands on lawyers to get me off. I've spent hundreds of thousands on scientists, flown scientists here, flying scientists there, to find out how. You got to remember, I never knew if this was going to be proven. But all I knew, I was innocent. So there must be a mistake. There must be a reason. I haven't taken it. So there must be a reason. If they can solve murder cases from 20 years ago because of DNA, they can definitely tell if there's been any abnormalities in my body over the past 6 months. And that was what I kept thinking to myself. The science is going to save me here. The science is going to save me. But the court of public opinion, by the time we had the evidence, people had already made up their mind. And the decision, people had already, who cares if I'm innocent now? You know, the damage has been done. And that was what was hard. So with Orozco, I mean, it's hard for me to, like, I'm not going to be like, if he was taking it, it would make sense as to why he stood up to the shots he did.
Took a lot of shots.
I wouldn't even say he took a lot, but he took heavy shots.
Heavy, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say there was like a lot, but when I threw them, I connected. And it's like you'd see him go, and then all of a sudden he was all right. He looked gone. I'd look at him and he looked gone, and then all of a sudden he's all right and he's back together. Which now doesn't come as a surprise to me if he was taking EPO, you know. But I'm not going to put that down to the reason, because we don't know the evidence. We don't know the facts. But what I do know is anyone who I've hit with them shots haven't got back up. So, I mean, I give him the benefit of the doubt, and I pray that, listen, he's got a family and kids. So I pray that if he is innocent, that this gets cleared up and he's able to get back fighting. If he's guilty, ban him for 4 years.
I know you still have to clear up the stuff in the UK, but you fight in September. You're back here in February. Do you feel like you're in a way back on track with your career?
It's hard because I feel like it's still a burden, man. Still a burden. It's still heavy on me, you know, and I feel like until this case is concluded, I can't see a future. Although I'm fighting and I prepare for fighting like the same, I am mentally, it's hard to explain. I mentally want this just done. Like that's like I just desperately want this finished and this chapter closed. But right now, all I can do is control what I can control, and that's why I'm looking at this: stay in the gym, stay working, stay grafting, stay disciplined, stay dedicated. Anything else, it's just going to give me resilience and strength. When all this is cleared, I'll be able to be clear, you know, like mentally, because there's so much just still.
Before I let you go, I was in Arizona this past weekend, and we filmed some stuff with DAZN about your fight. Barry Jones was there, Sergio was there, and we talked about your future. And to me, the best fight for Conor Benn and for boxing, and I know you got unfinished business with Chris Eubank, you want to win a welterweight title, but give me Conor Benn, Virgil Ortiz. That's what I want to see. We had Virgil Ortiz fight just a few weeks ago. He's out there saying, hey, man, I want a big fight. You know, I know you badly want a big fight. If a Virgil Ortiz fight was presented to you, and if the money was right, because I know it has to be right, how do you feel about that particular fight?
No problem. You know, like when people do the measures, if you keep, you know, bigged up Virgil Ortiz and bigged up Jaron Ennis, but yeah, when I fought Samuel Vargas just after Virgil Ortiz and beat him way more convincingly, or when I fought Van Heerden just before Jaron Ennis, you guys are tipping these guys to be pound for pound greats, future pound for pound greats. Oh, but then Conor Benn with no amateur experience isn't on their level. But yeah, I've just done the same thing, if not better. So it's like when people say, oh yeah, but you're not ready for them, he's a killer, he's a killer, he's this. What about the guy who beats them more convincingly, more ferocious, you know, more devastating with the power shot? So any of them names I can mention, they don't mention my name. You know, they never mention my name. I mention theirs. And these are the fights the British public won. Not even the British public, the public won, the public can get them. Devin Haney, Barrios. Before it was Ugas, Thurman. There was Pacquiao. There was Brooke, Eubank, Liam Smith. So it's like, I'm here. I'm ready. Just let me know. Let me know when and how much, of course.
Obviously, you got to know how much is in that pot. Well, Conor, good to see you, man. Glad to see you back in the ring. February 3rd, live on DAZN, Vegas, afternoon fight in the US, prime time in the UK. Good luck on Saturday, Conor, and I appreciate your time as always.
Thank you. Pleasure.